Please welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovely. So I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys. We have been Mexico of the president of Mexico actually sent a message to DP in the regard of massive deportation and the tariff which have been going all over the social platforms. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. All right, lovelies, let's dive into it.
So Claudia, the president of Mexico, has wrote a letter to Donald Duck. And needless to say, she read him for filth. Okay, so she says, "Dear President-elect Donald Trump, I'm writing to you regarding your statement on Monday, November 25th concerning migration, fentanyl trafficking, and tariffs. You may not be aware that Mexico has developed a comprehensive policy to assist migrants from different parts of the world who cross our territory en route to the southern border of the United States. As a result, and according to data from your country's Customs and Border Protection, encounters at the Mexico-United States border have decreased by 75% between December 2023 and November 2024. Moreover, half of these who arrive do so through a legally scheduled appointment under the United States CBP-1 program. For these reasons, migrant caravans no longer arrive at the border. Even so, it is clear that we must work together to create a new labor mobility model that is necessary for your country, as well as address the root causes that compel families to leave their homes out of necessity. My bad, bitch. If even a small percentage of what the United States allocates to war were instead dedicated to peace building and fostering development, it would address the underlying cause of human mobility. On another note, and for humanitarian reasons, Mexico has consistently expressed its willingness to help prevent the fentanyl epidemic in the United States from continuing. This is, after all, a public health and consumption problem within your society." Damn girl, we catching strays too? So far this year, Mexican armed forces and prosecutors have seized tons of various types of drugs, 10,340 firearms, and have detained 15,640 individuals for violence related to drug trafficking. Furthermore, the Mexican Congress is in process of approving a constitutional reform to classify the production, distribution, and commercialization of fentanyl and other synthetic drugs as a serious crime without bail. However, it is publicly known that the chemical precursors used to produce this and other synthetic drugs are illegally entering Canada, the United States, and Mexico from Asian countries. This underscores the urgent need for international collaboration. You must also be aware of the illegal trafficking of firearms into my country from the United States. 70% of illegal weapons seized from criminals in Mexico come from your country. We do not produce these weapons, nor do we consume synthetic drugs. Tragically, it is in our country that the lives are lost to violence resulting from meeting the drug demands and yours. President Trump, migration and drug consumption in the United States cannot be addressed through threats or tariffs. What is needed is cooperation and mutual understanding to tackle these significant challenges. For every tariff, there will be a response in kind until we put at risk our shared enterprises. Yes, shared. For instance, among Mexico's main exporters to the United States are General Motors and Ford Motor Company, which arrived in Mexico 80 years ago. Why impose a tariff that would jeopardize them? Such a measure would be unacceptable and would lead to inflation and job losses in both the United States and Mexico. I am convinced that North Americans' economic strength lies in maintaining our trade partnership. This allows us to remain competitive against other economic blocs. For this reason, I believe that dialogue is the best path to understanding, peace, and prosperity for our nations. I hope our teams can meet soon to continue building joint solutions. And all I gotta say is, Claudia, you ate that.
Tone of this letter is very important because Mexico's president is not just talking about tariffs, about economic and the economic relationship with the United States, but also the border relationship with the United States, because Mexico has done a lot to help the Biden administration control the migration that is coming into the U.S. southern border.
Like, let the caravans just walk right on over here, huh?
border, which begs the question about what is happening on the U.S. southern border, given that Governor Greg Abbott and the incoming U.S. border czar, Tom Homan, are on the border today. Here's the reality. The migrant apprehension numbers are extremely low. I talked to a law enforcement source, Jim, who says that on Sunday, migrant apprehensions were about 1,500. If you compare that to December of 2023, when 10,000 people were crossing the border per day, that just gives you a sense of the dramatic change. The reality is, and I've talked to both.
And they're flying them over here now, but they're still coming straight through Mexico.
People on the ground, agents, and also advocates who work on the border, they say it is very quiet right now, very low, despite what you're hearing from Governor Greg Abbott and the incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Back to you.
All right, Rosa Flores, important.
It's funny because Tom Homan just said that they're about to hit the ground running and they're not waiting for the Biden administration or for the Trump administration to take office on January 20. He's already working with the Texas governor, but we're going to get to that in a completely different video.
Context. Thank you very much.
What do Americans want in terms of what were their top priorities for Trump? This is according to CBS News YouGov poll that came out. Their highest priority is lower prices. 79% of Americans want lower prices. Just 26% say put tariffs on imports. So his strategy here can undercut what voters want him to do.
Sure, but this, threatening tariff.
Whoa! What do we have here, buddy? Jesus Christ.
Particularly against Mexico and other Central American countries, was basically the central pillar of his diplomatic approach to migration when it came to this region. So yes, while those economic concerns are true, the president-elect he does gravitate towards immigration and migration as his primary issue. This is one of his basically go-to steps when it comes to his approach for these nations. The other thing that's not being talked about as much is sort of Mexico's response to this as well. In order to do many of those ambitious plans that the president-elect has been talking about, sweeping border restrictions, mass deportations, you also need somebody to take in those people that you're reporting, that being the Mexican government. They've been basically a collaborator and one of the prime reasons that the Biden administration has been able to drive down border crossings recently. And today, the Mexican government also issued a response to the president-elect.
Claudia Sheinbaum, who was the first female president of Mexico, hinted on Tuesday that Mexico might respond with its own tariffs if U.S. President-elect Donald Trump follows through on his threat to impose 25% import duties on Mexican goods. President-elect Donald Trump, who takes office on January 20, 2025, said late on Monday he would impose a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico until they clamp down on drugs, particularly fentanyl, and migrants crossing the border. Now, keep in mind, Mexico is the United States' top trade partner as of September, representing 15.8% of total trade, followed by Canada at 13.9%. Donald Trump's ultimatum aims to pressure Mexico to curb the flow of drugs and migrants across the border. While President Sheinbaum expressed a willingness to discuss these issues, she emphasized that the drug crisis is primarily a U.S. problem. She pointed out that Mexico has taken significant steps to control migration, noting that caravans of migrants no longer reach the border. However, efforts to combat drugs like fentanyl and synthetic opioid produced by Mexican cartels using chemicals sourced from China have faltered in recent months. President Sheinbaum highlighted the issue of weapons smuggled from the U.S. into Mexico, framing it as a contributing factor to the broader crisis. She reiterated that the flow of drugs is a public health and consumption problem.
Baby, so the president of Mexico, Madam Claudia Sheinbaum, has pretty much told Trump, if you want to play a game of fuck around and find out, let's get it. So in case you've been living under a rock somewhere or you're an uneducated Trumper, Donald Trump is threatening to impose 25% tariffs on Mexico. So Madam President was like, oh, word? That's what you want to do? No problem. We're going to hit you with that same 25% increase. How about that? Then she went on to talk about how Trump keeps saying all these drugs are coming in from Mexico. And Madam President was like, hold up. It is your country that has the problem with drugs and illegal guns coming into Mexico. Baby, then she hit him with the, if America spent a fraction of the money that they spent on weapons for war, baby, we wouldn't be in the shit that we're in now. And she's absolutely right. My taxes shouldn't have to pay for your welfare. When in reality, the biggest portion of our taxes goes to war funding. And while we're on the subject, let's keep it a buck. America has far too many auto factories in Mexico to be playing this tit-for-tat ass game. This orange butt fuck ain't even took office yet, and he already fucking up relations.
It's Joe from Georgia. So, with the tariff announcements and the deportations announcement that Donald Trump transition team is putting out there, do people really understand what's really going to happen? So we're going to increase tariffs on Mexico. Well, guess what the Mexican president said today? She said, oh, we'll put tariffs on American products. Okay? And then, of course, Donald Trump on day one wants to do the biggest mass deportation of immigrants, illegal immigrants in the United States. And a lot of those are going to be Mexicans. So the Mexican president comes out and says, oh, okay. And what we will do is we will take the 2 million Americans that live here in Mexico and we will deport them. So those 2 million people, by the way, are voters, who live in Mexico. And probably a lot of them voted for Donald Trump. But so we've got tariffs that are going to affect both sides of any country that we do it to. They will retaliate in the same way, raising your prices, making inflation go through the roof, making it harder to buy a home, making it harder to buy a car, and pretty much raising the prices on every grocery item that you have. The deportations all play a part in that also. So you're going to disrupt the lives of 2 million Americans who are living in Mexico, and you're going to go ahead and put out all the illegals, as you say, the ones who are working in the farms and meat packing and all of those things, paying taxes, paying Social Security that they will never get any of, by the way, in either one. They don't get it back. So that's what we've got, folks. That's where we're at. So 2 policies for Donald Trump, 2 huge headaches for us.
I called my mother today. Remember that my grandma is a naturalized citizen. Somebody targeted by the new administration. So like any good granddaughter would do, I call my mom because she's with my grandma. They're in Mexico, at the rancho, chilling. Me? Mom, grandma, you're not gonna believe this. My grandpa gets on the phone. Mija, Donald Trump. Mentiras, mija, mentira. Grandpa. My grandma gets back on the phone. She continues to explain to me how they made up my bed. When am I gonna visit? Like everything's normal, right? Grandma, they're going after your citizenship. Grandma, put mom on the phone. My mom gets back on the phone. I'm all, Mom, why is nobody freaking out? She says, Mija, they've been here anyway. She said, what about it? If we're over there and they deport us, they're just gonna deport us back to the rancho. Agustos. Y'all know things are bad when Mexico is doing so much better than America. My grandparents went back. Y'all. She said, fine, you can keep it. Worked over 10 years to get citizenship. And she said, fine, keep it.
Do I think we are going to have the largest mass deportation event in U.S. history? No. No, I do not. I think we have to take Trump seriously and also remember that he is full of shit. I think that there will be significant deportations, but I don't think that Trump will care whether or not it reaches the 10 million or whatever in numbers that he said it would. He will enforce enough of these deportations to make a big splash the first few months that he is in office. He will make sure that it gets a lot of media coverage and he will scare a lot of people. And then he will slowly abandon it when he realizes how expensive it is and how logistically difficult it is to carry off what he said he would do. His followers will not care whether he actually enacted the largest mass deportation effort in U.S. history. They won't care any more than they cared that he did not build a massive wall along the southern border and make Mexico pay for it. All that will matter in the end is that he talked a big game, he thumped his chest, and he scared a lot of undocumented immigrants and shook some folks on the left. Most of his acolytes will forget he ever said it, and the press will be on to covering the next round of chaos that he is enacting. So I'm guessing this will be one of those times that maybe some of us are glad that he's full of shit.
So the president of Mexico has actually sent this letter to TP telling him that, okay, we've heard your message and I think we're going to retaliate. So this really happened because of what has been going on with the massive deportation, with the tariff, high rate of tariff, and the finding out states. Like, I do not even know that she is going to send the strong message, I think this is actually a time people have to dialogue with all of these states, because if these tariff deportation and what have you happens, I think is going to affect a lot of people. It's going to affect a lot of countries as well. Because when you impose a 25% of tariff on a goods and services, like that will automatically make goods and services to be very, very, very expensive to purchase. And who are those people, purchasing those goods and services? Who are the final consumers? Who are the ones that is going to be hurt? Who are the ones that are going to pay a huge amount of money in order to purchase these goods? They are the normal masses. They are the final consumers. Like, this is what so many people do not really understand. This is the research that so many people were ought to, make before proceeding on, on a voting ballot. It's so disappointing that people are just now beginning to Google words tariff and how tariff works. A lot of people think that, tariff is being paid by the main exporter, not like the people that, without even knowing that you as an importer are the ones paying it. And when you as an importer, when you import goods and services, you are ought to increase your price in order to recover the amount of tariff tax that you paid. This is what some people do not understand. I stitched a video of a guy, I think he's into this, clothing business, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I voted for TP because of the inflation, or because inflation are taking to the rocket speed. This is why I voted, for TP." And the interviewer was like, "Okay, you as an importer, when you import goods and services, and you've been charged about that 25% or 35%, it all depends on the location you are importing from. And when you are being charged and you import these goods, how will you recover your finances?" He was like, the goods are going to be I'm going to add money to the goods because of the tariff. And before you know it, he paused. That was now when it dawned on him that it's actually going to make goods and services to be more expensive to buy. Why a lot of people were of the opinion that, okay, with this tariff it will give room to create jobs and within the states, but without knowing that before this manufacturing industry is being you know manufactured or established, before there, what happens before then? And the thing is that all of the raw materials that one needs to produce all of these goods and services cannot be gotten in a particular state. Let's just take, for instance, all of the vegetables that is being imported from other states. Like, it's not even possible. It is still going to make people to suffer. It's going to make inflation to be doubling. Like, and this is what people do not even understand. Am I even talking about the veteran? Am I talking about the affordable care? Like, it's just that, oh my goodness, people have refused to actually see the reality in front of them. People have refused to see what people that looks like me have been trying to say for a very long time. Because a lot of people, just like the way at which I stitched a video where someone was like, so many people are voting, because of what they feel inside of them, the HAT they feel inside of them. There's a video I saw where, a Latino person was like, "Oh, I voted. I voted. I clicked YT and I voted because I know that they see us as pan colored." Like, most of these, Mexican people often think that they are being classified as pan colored people. Like, I don't understand why you have to deceive yourself to such extent. No matter how you want to, do it, just like Angel Rodriguez, you will never be a pan colored. You are still going to be a minority. Like, the better you understand this, or the sooner you understand it, the better for every one of you. I like the fact that their president actually sent this message, giving them a means of encouragement that nothing is going to happen. You can, just relax, sending back this to TP. Let's just hope that TP respond with some kind of positivity. But this man is someone that he doesn't really care. But we just hope that he actually do the needful. Because if all of the things that he promises is going to, like, from the 20th of January, the tariff, and oh my God, I think this time or this period in time is not even the time for you to go for all this Christmas shopping, Thanksgiving. This is the time for you to stock up. This is the time. But let's just hope that this does not, pull through. But if it does, anyways, there is always a way to survive. There is always a way to survive. Anyway, lovelies, when I saw this video, I thought that okay, I was going to put it up because it's like a form of something is about to happen. Wanna just leave your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational purposes. I also want to use this medium to say a very big shout out to my newest subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, to those people that super chatted me. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Wanna just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. If you've not subscribed to this channel up to this extent, please do again hit here to click on the subscription button, like this video, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.